You discussed the so-called Wilsonian moment during and after World War I as a pivotal point in the development of anti-Western nationalism. Why were nationalist movements in East Asia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe disappointed in the peace agreement at Versailles?
Well, of course, President Woodrow Wilson went to Versailles outside of Paris to take part in the negotiations for the treaty ending World War I. And of course, Wilson had put forward his 14 points and his rhetoric. The war, he said, was to make the world safe for democracy. One of the 14 points was self-government for people who were under the rule of others. Wilson was talking about Europe, basically. The World War I led to the destruction of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and those peoples in Eastern Europe deserved nations of their own. And out of World War I came new nations, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Poland, etc., who'd been ruled over either by the Tsarist Empire or the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But of course, people in other colonies around the world also said, well, wait a minute, what about this principle of democracy? Does it apply to us? The Ottoman Empire in the Middle East was destroyed, but Wilson did not say, well, therefore those people ought to get national independence. What about the British colonies in India? What about the French colonies in Vietnam and Southeast Asia? Their leaders came to Versailles and said, well, yes, what about this Wilsonian moment of self-determination? But Wilson, of course, was, first of all, he shared American racial views very deeply, and he didn't believe non-white peoples were really capable of self-government. He was thinking of Europe. And of course, the British who were winners, didn't want to dismantle their empire, neither did the French. So the promise of democracy was betrayed at Versailles, at least from the point of view of people like Gandhi from India, or Ho Chi Minh from Vietnam, or people fighting for the independence of Egypt from British rule. And so it led to a great sense of disappointment in the end, that the Wilsonian principle was not really applied to many of the colonial possessions of the world. And the Wilsonian moment ended in widespread disappointment. It had begun in great hopes for worldwide change.